Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. It is that time tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Werid Frequencies, a show that does everything newsworthy when it comes to the paranormal, everything from UFOs, ghosts, weird science, conspiracies, you name it, we cover it. I am co-host Tyler, main host and owner Rob is busy tonight. He's busy with family. So I figured we haven't really done a show. I mean, I know Rob did a show last week and it was a short show. I was at work, sadly. But I figured we'd do a show and, Rob's visiting with family. So I'm going to, I guess, fly solo tonight from the sounds of it. How is everybody on this Sunday night? Just a few days before the end of just a few weeks before Christmas and the end of the year. I'm gonna be honest with you 100%, everybody. 2023 has been a horrible year for me. Horrible. It has been literally, I'm ready for the year to be over with. I'm ready for the year to be over with. I'm ready for, the winter to be over with. I'm ready for a lot of things. 2023, it's weird too, because the odd years for me seem to be the years that are really bad. I lost my grandfather back just before my birthday, my grandfather, Butch Rowland. I lost my great uncle Clyde a few weeks ago. And I think, I'm just ready for this year to be over with. I'm ready for this year to be done. I'm ready for this year to end. But next year's probably going to be even bad, if not worse, because next year is an election year. And I don't know about the rest of you. I try not to get political. I just call bullshit where bullshit is needed. And I am not looking forward to next year's election. I would rather sit here and talk about full disclosure of UFOs, them discovering Bigfoot, them discovering the freaking Loch Ness Monster, me ghost hunting. I'd rather discuss all that. So 2023 is going to be has been a bad year, and 2024 is going to probably be just as bad. I had some friends of mine. They were with me to go out and play Magic the Gathering night. Yes, I play Magic the Gathering. I'm a nerd. What can I say? I'm a connoisseur of many things when it comes to just, being a person. So, again, for those of you just tuning in, Rob is unfortunately visiting family tonight, so I'll be flying solo for the night. So, if you would, please share the link, share it with some other enthusiasts of the weird, get some more viewers, some more attention to the show, perhaps. Share it, and those of you who are probably new, please follow and like. And we hope to do this every Sunday from about 8 to 9 o'clock. So we'll be covering all this and continuing on. I'm sure if Rob gets time, Rob might hop in. We'll see what happens. We got a lot in the news this week, including a little update on my own ghost hunt that I went on a few weeks ago at the Havana Gym. Shout out to the Havana, Illinois Park District for letting us go back there. That was an amazing time, and we got some clips for that. Once the video is done editing, our main editor, David Whitney, is currently working on it. Once that is done, we are going to hopefully debut it here on Werid Frequencies, so you guys can watch and see what happened. But I'm telling you, this ghost hunt this time at Havana, that's 2 for 2. Havana was the gym that I went to where we had the padlock tossed at us. That was a couple of years ago, right before the COVID-19 lockdowns. And here it is, second time around. 2 times it has impressed me and won the gold standard. And not very many places you go to that are haunted, that you go to ghost hunt, have that notoriety of being able to carry basically 2 for 2. Mineral Springs was a great place. I've only went to it once. Diamond Grove was another great place. It was also another one of my favorite places. Not much happened the last time we were there. Havana, however, definitely stepped up to the plate. Definitely had some amazing evidence that happened there. And once that video is finally finished editing, and once we are done clipping together, going through the evidence, I'm telling you guys, it was like right off the bat, it was instant. Boom, 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 boom. I can't snap this finger. What am I doing? Let's cut that music off. It was instant. It was that when oh, we got the creature from the Black Lagoon. I thought I smelled fish. And Amanda Kluge can attest to it. Amanda Kluge came along with us, so it was a really good time. And I mean, I know there's some people out there who are like, oh, go, best way to actually become a believer is to go and experience this stuff. For a lot of people, it's the history. For a lot of people, it's the actually getting in there to investigate. For a lot of people, it's a mixture of all types of things, So it was awesome. But I'm gonna debut a little evidence we caught. Amanda Kluge was there. Of course, my ghost hunting team was there. It was a good time. So hang on a sec. I might get a co-host in here from the looks of it. Oh shit. I might be able to get a co-host on tonight, considering how like I said, for those of you just tuning in, Rob is visiting with family. It's the holidays. It's going to happen. People are going to visit. You're going to see family and all that stuff. It's going to happen. So plus, I mean, it's one of those things. You got to visit your family. You got to see your family, all that stuff. I got done with my nephew's birthday party today. That was I don't know. I love my nephew to death 100%. And I went to this birthday party expecting something to eat, like pizza or something grilled or something like that. Apparently, he told my sister the main thing he wanted served at his birthday party was fruit and cupcakes. So that kid's going to be bouncing off the walls all night tonight. And here is the future proud father, 7 times from the sounds of it. What's going on, man?
Things are going all right. We're trying to get through this cluster bomb that's called Christmas and kids' birthdays and stuff.
I'm telling you, man, it's just that time of the year. It's that time of year. Everybody's wanting to go out and spend time. Some people love this stuff. Like Christina Wright, she's in the chat room. I know she's been ready for this holiday since right after Halloween, like right afterwards. And it's like, I love Christmas and all that. Don't get me wrong, but every once in a while, you just gotta step back and go, whew, okay. I need a day to myself. I need some me time. I need to just sit here, watch TV, read a book, something,
Yeah. I get tired of Walmart turning it into a hollow Thanksmas.
Yeah, it really does. It becomes hollow Thanksmas. And the funny thing too is which holidays is coming up, because it's like you go straight to Walmart. November 1st, they're playing Christmas music. They've already got the Christmas decorations out. You go after December 26th, it's all the New Year's stuff. And then you go after New Year's, they're already getting Valentine's Day stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Christina, I want you to listen to this, and I got proof of this too. I'll send it to her if she wants. Last year, I went to Walmart last minute to pick up a case of beer for me and my brother-in-laws, because we always drink a beer on Christmas. They already had Easter candy out. They had the Reese's Easter egg candy out on Christmas Eve. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's too early.
It's way too early. I can understand if it was like Valentine's Day or St. Patty's Day. No. Reese's Easter eggs. At some point, I think even Christina, she's a big Christmas fan. You got to sit there and say, oh, hell no, that's way too early. Way too early.
What, at Valentine's Day, are we supposed to get fireworks for the 4th of July?
I guess, well, I mean, I do love explosives, so, I mean.
Well, everyone loves explosives, but I mean, really? Like, do we got to plan 6 months in advance?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know how retail plans it, but it's some people accuse me of being a Scrooge because I was sitting there hardcore saying, don't put your Christmas decorations up till after Thanksgiving. And it's not because I don't like Christmas. No. I love Christmas. I really do. It's just that the marketization of the holidays. If I want to go buy gifts for people, which I already have, I'll buy gifts early.
Yeah.
The big problem for me is it's like they want you to spend. I would rather spend time with family. I mean, I don't really have anything I need. I mean, I have everything I need. I don't really have anything necessarily I have to sit there and say, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. And also because most of the stuff I want is, well, it's too expensive. If I want to buy a car, if I want a car for Christmas, I'll buy my own car. If I want a gun for Christmas, I'll buy my own gun. Just get me a bottle of alcohol and we'll call it even,
Yeah, anything to make an enjoyable evening.
Exactly. Yeah. So, well, Adam, thanks for jumping in here. I know you've been busy with all that you got going on. And for those who don't know, Adam and we're going to just call her wife. I'm just going to refer to her as the wife. She pretty much is.
Yeah.
They are due in 5 days.
On Friday.
Friday, yeah. That's going to be a hell of a Friday. You're going to be sitting there. I'm going to expect cohibas or quartz cigars. I'm going to suggest.
I actually don't smoke, so that's not something I really get into.
I am trying very hardcore to quit smoking. And let me tell you something. It's not easy. It's not easy. We have this kitten here at this house, this orange kitten that needs to go in and get fixed, but we had to cancel the operation because the person who was going to do the operation is sick, and we're not going to get his balls lobbed off till about December or January. I wanted to kill this cat so badly today because he went into heat for the first time. And just, the whole, it's like, oh my God, people. Can we, there's got to be an easier way to deal with this. And here I am trying not to smoke a cigarette. And 20 minutes in, I finally broke down, said, screw it, I'm getting a cigarette. I need something to calm me down before I end up choke slamming a cat. So,
yeah. It's like you already German suplexed Susan. I mean, we don't need to do that to the cat, too.
Oh my gosh. I think.
Although it was a perfect German suplex.
It was a perfect German suplex. I didn't know she had to pee. I think a lot of people, the Werid Frequency audience, is like, what are they talking about? What? Let me elaborate. A couple months back, and then we'll get into the news. A couple months back, me and Susan were messing around, just not sexual, just messing around. She had to get up and go to the bathroom, and I ended up grabbing her, pretending I was going to hug her and kiss her neck, and instead I gave her a German suplex. I didn't know my fiance had to pee, but she did. She did. And I haven't heard the end of it since. Give the cat to a Chinese restaurant.
Oh my. Yes, I'll take the General Meows.
General Meows chicken. Well, it's already orange, so there's the orange chicken. There you go. She did not piss all over me, Christina, but she was not happy. She was not happy, and I think she messaged you about it.
Yeah, she did.
She messaged everyone about it.
That was the oddest message string I've ever been involved in, I think.
You got to explain to your wife, well, you explain to your wife, Adam, why is your phone blowing up? Well, Tyler gave Susan a perfect German suplex, so she pissed herself.
It's like, now I'm being the mediator for this. Talking to her and then eventually talking to you too.
Hey, you gotta admit, when you called me, I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. I can't say as part of me didn't find the situation hilarious, but
yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to a couple news stories we have for tonight. So in this world we live in, there is, I guess we could call it a type of personal identification move renaissance or sexual renaissance or something along those lines where people believe they have either one gender or multiple genders or they're a certain gender, stuff like that.
Or
And
they can switch
they can
back and forth,
switch,
be fluid
yes.
with it.
And there's a lot of people who are sitting there saying, well, there's only two genders. There's only even nature has one or the other gender. Well, now apparently they can't argue that anymore. They can't argue about the one or the other gender, as a lobster caught in Maine is drawing attention online for a couple of unusual attributes. And this is a very fascinating lobster. And in fact, it's not the first lobster they have pulled out, which is prompting scientists to contemplate the idea this may be a new species, this may be a subspecies of some types.
Okay.
So the lobster itself was brought to him by a friend and fellow lobsterman, and it was dubbed the crustacean Bowie in honor of musician David Bowie for the famously androgynous style of mishmash color eyes. David Bowie wore a lot of makeup. The lobster itself is red and blue. But not only that, that's not the most interesting thing about this lobster. New England Aquarium biologist Jordan Baker said only about one share the Bowie bicolored appearance of red and blue. I'll bring a video over here in a minute. This lobster apparently also has two genders.
Okay.
So this is technically a species of, I guess it would be hermaphroditic lobster.
Okay.
There are these embryo mutations or changes in that otogenetics development. Marine biologist Jordan Baker said, the combination of embryos or division that basically make two different animals. So what they are saying is that this lobster it's kind of the epitome of, like, say, Siamese twins. Okay. So while this lobster was developing inside of its egg, it was supposed to be two lobsters. Something happened, the embryos merged, and now we have one lobster with both sexes. However, the reason that it's throwing the scientific community on its end is because of the fact that they're finding more and more crustaceans, particularly lobsters, that are having this type of dual sex analogy.
Are they able to procreate to create their fertilize their own eggs?
That's the thing. They are unsure because they've only been discovered and they've only been noticed as a trend in the past month and a half since this discovery was made. Let me bring up the video here so everybody can see what this lobster looks like.
To say that'd be a massive shift.
Let's see. All right, so they're going to bring up, there's the lobster.
Okay.
And you see how it has a red top, red arms, but then you see blue for the bottom and kind of like under here.
Yeah.
And see, it's still alive too. So the gentleman's taking good care of it. It's moving. It may be, and see, there's the other side of it too, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder, and see there, he's pointing out the reproductive organs. There's the component A, we'll call it.
Yeah.
About Bowie's journey have been going viral. We want to welcome Jacob. Thank you. Half blue, half orange lobster is both male and female. Jacob's posts about Bowie's journey have been going viral. We want to welcome Jacob. Thank you so much for joining us. First, let's talk about when you first saw this lobster. What was your initial reaction?
I was very surprised by the lobster. A friend of mine saved it out for us, and we opened the crate up that morning and looked inside, and I was pretty mind blown. Never seen one like that. We have seen and heard about plenty with split colors, but never split genders to coincide with the colors.
I have to ask, because you're catching lobster all day. It's your job. When you're opening up the cages, is something like this, I would imagine, really stands out to you?
Yeah, that's one of the exciting parts of the job. The job can get pretty tedious without stuff like that popping up. So we're always kind of keeping an eye out for interesting things.
All right, so you named the lobster Bowie. Like David Bowie, I'm thinking. How to
Yeah,
tell us how
that
you came up with it.
actually came through the comments on social media. I kind of
I just want to make a comment right here. You need to find a crab with the same color and name it Freddie Mercury to go along with it.
up to the followers to name it. That was the highest vote. We kind of put it up to a vote in the comments, and that's what they went with.
You have a huge presence on social media, but this really caught people's attention. Did you expect the response from people? I mean, we hear stories about this, and it is really awesome. But did you expect the reactions that you got?
I kind of did. Yeah, we've been sharing stuff on there for like 3 years now. So kind of developed a little bit of a sense of what's popular on there and what people find interesting. And usually when we find something very interesting, the followers find it very interesting as well. So something like this, I kind of suspected would catch a lot of eyes.
Yeah, it really is cool. What's the plan for Bowie now?
For now, we're keeping it. We've made a cage, and we're keeping it in the harbor. You can actually see it there on the screen, and we're keeping it in the cage alone to kind of watch it and follow it and see if it can develop eggs on its own.
There you
since
go.
It has both the parts. Don't know. I'm not a scientist, but we're going to kind of keep checking in on it once a week and posting updates on social media. We're going to continue feeding it and updating everybody that's following along and see if it gets eggs. We can hold it pretty safely through the winter, especially with the water. It's nice and cold in the winter for them. And come spring, we'll have to find a more permanent solution. But for now, we're just going to keep an eye on him.
So we can follow.
So they are going to try and see if it can self-replicate.
I just wonder if they should have gave Bowie to like a marine biologist up there instead of just a group of fishermen.
I think technically this guy
prodding at
is a
him.
marine biologist. I'm not sure because it looks as though they know what they're doing. They developed a cage for him, all that stuff. And apparently this is also according to this article here. This is the 5th one that was pulled out of the New England waters in the past few months, which is causing some scientists to wonder if this is a new species or if this is just some sort of genetic mutation that happened with a certain clutch of eggs that all hatch this way. So
maybe
that'd be pretty cool, though. If you can get food that could, the biggest problem that a lot of people have when it comes to foods, particularly like say cattle or chicken or something like that, is space. Yeah. Space is the big problem. So if you could get an animal that could self-replicate of some type. Because I know China, they talk about like genetically altered or cloned animals.
Yeah.
But if you can get an animal to self-replicate like that, for example, that would be rather interesting. That might actually help with some spacing.
But does this come down to, is this lobster type species evolving to do this, or is this just a genetic variant or even mutation?
I don't know. It might be
rare to the area.
Could be. Never know. Well,
animals are going to start self-replicating as an evolutionary trait. That can bring into question why.
I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Definitely something to look out for in the future.
Well, for all of our Bigfoot fans currently in the chat room and watching the show, Bigfoot, say what you will about Bigfoot. I still don't believe in Bigfoot because I need a body to say that, yeah, it exists, because we've seen everything else except the body. But it's been a steady year for Bigfoot. You've had ups and downs with aliens, ups and downs with other cryptids. Bigfoot's just remained steady. So there are a few cryptozoological creatures that have generated as much debate over the years as Bigfoot. Now scientists have photographed what they claim is a 5-toed footprint in West Virginia, which is a large area that everybody claims has Bigfoot. Bigfoot sightings are here. The footprint itself is approximately 9 inches in width. I'll bring a photo of this thing in width.
Holy cow.
And Christina's also like, I don't blame you. Bigfoot's the one where I kind of shy away from There
mean,
is
yeah,
snow.
that's 3/4 of a foot wide.
Yeah. Let's see. For many people, Bigfoot's a myth. Let's see. One individual would seem to fail firmly into the later category is Chuck Headley from West Virginia, who recently took to the Bigfoot Believers Facebook group to post a couple of pictures of something he believed to be evidence of the creature's existence. What he had found was a large 5-toed footprint measuring approximately 9 inches in width. So, okay, so it's 9 inches in width. And that means that whatever made that footprint had to be 7, 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
From the footprint.
It's odd. Like if you pull up the picture again, Tyler, if you look at that first picture, you see the toes are kind of like cocked to the side quite a bit. And
then in this one here, it's not.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's not normal because obviously we haven't seen one. But it makes the print, I guess, a little bit less believable because of how the toes are kind of cricked over.
Yeah, it looks like whatever it was that made that footprint, like the heel's going this way, and then for some reason its toes are going that way.
Yeah, it's almost like someone's foot slid in the mud.
Yeah.
But they did it barefoot.
That's a hell of a slide, though. That's
it is.
I mean, I can see where what you said kind of makes sense, but it looks to me like here's the heel, and then for some weird reason the foot curves upwards, and you had these toes. It's weird. This is what I don't like about Bigfoot footprints themselves, is because it's proven that people can fake these, people can replicate them with just the little board and the pole, just boom, boom.
Yeah,
and it's always a one-off. You can always either believe it's always either legitimate or it's misidentification or something like that, but you never really can tell if it's legitimate. Okay, what causes it? Is this a guy that maybe was walking in the water, his shoe fell off, and
and it looks like on the print, it looks like the Bigfoot would have to be a really high arched creature.
Yeah.
Because from the ball of the foot underneath the big toe, there's not a whole lot of contact to the ground between the ball of the foot and the heel.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's good. I didn't even notice that until you said something.
There's just almost no contact.
No. I look at this and it's like, at this point, the only way you're going to get the public to understand, because I don't believe, and Christina's even in here saying she don't believe. Man, Kluge says this looks like a werewolf footprint. See, Dan says, I think Bigfoot is out there. He's a feral human descendant from mountain folks. Problem is bipedal hominids who's spending a life barefoot won't have arches. Now, Dan is correct on that.
Yeah, it should be a flat-footed creature.
Yes.
I'm totally with Dan on that.
Yeah. I think at this point, the only way they're going to actually prove the existence of Bigfoot is, like I said, the body. That's the only possible way they could sit there and say, look, here it is. And you always have someone that comes out and says, oh, I got the body. Turns out it's fake. And apparently there was only one footprint found. Why is there always only one? That's a good point too. Why is it
because wouldn't there be like another footprint, like, I don't know, at least within 10 feet of that particular footprint?
Yeah, or the traces,
some direction,
or traces of a footprint. I'm pretty sure Bigfoot is bipedal and doesn't have just one foot he hops around on.
Yeah,
I mean, this is another problem we have with Bigfoot too. Is it's always like they said, one footprint, or it's maybe one in a partial or something like that. I think these feral humans practice cannibalism to hide the bones so you won't find a body. That would make sense too, but then again, also try going into the woods. This is one thing I will say in defense of Bigfoot. take a deer body and leave it in the woods. Leave it in the woods late summer, leave it there through early fall, through winter, come back in the spring and try and locate that deer carcass. Animal predation, scavengers, the elements will spread those bones out. And 9 times out of 10, you'll also be walking. You'll think you'll see a tree branch or a rock. No, that turns out to be a bone. So I don't know. It could be, Dan could be correct. Bigfoot could be a species of omnivore that also practices cannibalism. It could be that grizzly bears or wolves may find a Bigfoot carcass and say, all right, a Big Mac, here we go. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to need more than just a really fancy ghillie suit or a foot masher print maker, you know,
Yeah.
to make me believe that one definitely exists.
Every once in a while, there is a good video that comes out, like the train video we talked about over the fall.
Yeah.
That one comes out. That's really interesting. But I'm to the point where it's like, we need a body. It's great and all that you guys got a footprint or something like that. Plus, it also, the article says this comes from a Bigfoot enthusiast.
Yeah.
So that could be someone, that's one that could be a problem too, because some people be like, oh, I want to have that experience. I want to see Bigfoot. I want to see an alien. But you go so long with nothing, no evidence. You don't experience anything. You don't see anything. So at some point, you could make it up. You know, it's happened before. Wolves will gorge themselves and take large parts like legs and haul them off for later. The body would be scattered. Exactly. That's another possibility as to why you can't find a body. But the point I'm making is like, you can't tell me a hunter wouldn't take a chance and get rich. There's 1,000 rednecks around here that saw Bigfoot. Some of us would be like, we're going to get photos of it, video. We're going to try and get some form of evidence. One redneck with a shotgun thinking, hey, I'm going to get that brand new Dodge GMC. I'm going to drive it.
I'll go get it and get all jacked up so I can run through the mud and
you chase that monkey. You get that monkey. All right. Well, we've heard these stories for years. And we've heard the rumors about it. This is the dumbest story, the dumbest rumors I've ever heard. The alligators in the sewers of New York.
Okay.
Now, everyone up and down swears they're real. Everyone up and down says alligators do live in the New York sewer system. The problem with that is, while scientists have said the temperature might be decent for reptiles, it's not respectable because of the fact there is a lot of bacteria and viral and fungal growths in the New York sewer system that would infest a reptile's body through its skin and cause a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, now we can sit there and say that there was at one point alligators in the sewers. A work crew over in Oviedo, Florida, proved the New York City urban legend was a Sunshine State reality after discovering a 5-foot alligator residing in a sludge pipe in the city of Oviedo City, which I believe is in Florida. Now, the reason this brings this whole thing to light is because the alligator was also nesting there with hatchlings, which means the alligator was living in the sewer and the alligator was, in fact, breeding in there. So alligators are reptiles. They require sunlight to regulate body temperature, as happened in the past, but it's not a commonality. And that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Dan, again, is 100% true. But the reason this is causing a big outcry is because the alligator and its chicks were found this past May, and it was just brought to, the news light. They were found in the sewer system, and it's believed they'd been down there for some time. Let's see if I can pull up some pictures of this guy. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I think so. Here we go. Bring up a couple of these photos here so everybody can see. There you go. There's one of them. Now, this photo was taken back in May. The alligator and its chicks have been removed from the sewer system, but it does raise up a good point that if an alligator, now granted, this is in Florida. It's a warmer environment down there. I'm sure the waters are more warmer for a reptile. I would figure the sewer system in New York might be a little colder. You have bugs, insects, small mammals like raccoons, possums, and rats that could live down there. A reptile like this, I couldn't see. It depends on what the temperature is down there, because they say New York sewer system is a completely different ecosystem compared to actually on top of streets in New York. But bring up another photo here real quick so we can get a better shot of this guy. There we go. That's a good one there. They are saying that this guy was eventually drug out of the sewer system. He was 5 feet, so he was a little short. His chicks were all brought out too, and they were taken to an animal sanctuary for rehabilitation and be reintroduced into the waters.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the idea that a reptile, or let alone an alligator, could live in a sewer system is possible. In New York, still not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would think the temperatures of the water going in and out of the sewer would be just cool enough to dissuade a reptile, especially a reptile that size, of being down there consistently.
Yeah, that, and also plus either way you look at it, that's a reptile. It's a cold-blooded creature. That's New York. That's the East Coast. They get a lot of cold temperatures.
Yeah.
An alligator,
a lot of ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand this, but cold-blooded creatures like crocodiles and alligators and stuff like that, they need the heat, they need the sunlight, not only to regulate their body temperature, but to digest food. Without that, they go into a very lethargic, almost
comatose
state. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, let's cover next. All right, let's cover this one. This is one I heard about today, and I'm a little pissed off about. U.S. politicians are facing a lot of backlash over the sinking of the UFO disclosure bill. The bill, which passed by the Senate earlier this year, has now been opposed by several House Republicans. Go figure.
Yeah.
Known as the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon, or UAP Disclosure Act of 2023, the bill will require every government office to release to the public any and all records concerning unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAPs, UFOs, and extraterrestrial life, or as they're labeling it, non-human intelligence. Championed by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, which I've never liked Chuck Schumer, but I will give him credit. He tried on this one, so I'll give him a good thumbs up on this one. And among others, it was hailed as a major step forward toward full UFO disclosure and a greater level of transparency on the issue than ever before. While the bill was successfully passed by the Senate back in July, it has since been unexpectedly blocked by a number of House Republicans for reasons that continue to remain unclear. This has surprisingly prompted some heated remarks from other members of Congress. Schumer, in particular, took the bill to the floor on Monday to slam opponents of the bill. House Republicans are attempting to kill another common sense bipartisan measure passed by the Senate, which I was proud to co-sponsor, to increase transparency around the government does and does not know about unidentified aerial phenomenon, he said. And I agree. He's 100% correct. The House Republicans did get in the way of this shit.
Yeah.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon has generated intense curiosity from many Americans, and the risk for confusion and misinformation is high if the government is not willing to be transparent. Recently speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, which I listened to this the other day, whistleblower David Grush also had something to say about the decision to oppose the bill. He asked on the show, why are you blocking the bill? And it's not going to cost much, a couple of million a year max. You know, from the panel, which is like vaporware in the U.S. government speaks, right? If there is nothing to see here, why are people like Mike Rogers, Representative Mike Rogers, Republican, and Representative Mike Turner also Republican in the House blocking this bill. That is my opinion. They are the only people that have a problem with it, and they're the only people that seem to block it while the rest continue to try and push it. So those apparently are two of the individuals who want to block it.
Okay.
I think it's to the point, everybody who's a big UFO person or believer, I think it's pretty obvious. This was never going to see the light of day. Everybody was sitting there thinking, oh my God, this might be it. The government might tell us about it. Yeah, sure. No, we've been hearing that for years. They are not going to tell everyone the whole truth. And if they do, it's going to be something stupid. It's going to be some stupid excuse. The government's still going to hide it. The government's not.
I would love to see like the actual bill in its entirety to see if they're tacking on other stuff onto the tail end of that. That would keep it from coming out.
Well, let me see here. It is the UFO disclosure. Let's see if there's anything else on this bill. Usually, if Rob's here, I can look up stuff while he's talking about it.
Yeah, because I mean, just something like that, where it basically just involves transparency by the government, which is hardly ever going to happen. But you know, if it's just about UFOs,
yeah. Well, for example, you know, Adam's right. This would be tagged on to something else, or it's either tagged on by itself, or it's in a bill with something else, because it's no secret. You know, we live in Illinois. Adam lives in Taylorville now, right?
Yeah.
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 Right now, Illinois is going through a huge legal battle with the assault weapons ban, which was surprisingly, that was tagged on a law for insurance companies and theme park rides. That's where that was. They snuck that into that law.
Wow.
So that, yeah. I mean, and obviously it was stingy, yes, but that's what happens. They'll tag laws in with each other. Okay, let's see here.
It just makes me wonder what else is with it. Because in Illinois, yeah, that's doing something sketchy like that isn't above the Illinois government, I know.
According to this, it would be filed under the Atomic Energy Act of 1954. So I can see that being a problem, because when it comes to researching atomic energy, that's, you know, obviously atomic energy science. When it comes to developing atomic energy, now you're going into nuclear weapons territory. Here's what the bill would have done. This is everything. I'm going to go over the highlights of it. All federal government records, so it is a bill by itself. All federal government records related to identified UFOs, we'll call them, should be preserved and centralized for historical and federal government. Legislation is necessary to create an enforceable, independent, and accountable process for public disclosure of such records. Legislation is necessary because credible evidence and testimony indicates the federal government UFO phenomena records exist and have not been declassified or subject to mandatory declassification review as set forth in Executive Order 13526 50 USC. Okay, that would be an executive order. I haven't looked to see when that one was signed. It looks like it might be an old one. Due in part to examine exemptions under the Atomic Energy Act of 1954, as well as overboard interpretation or transclassification of foreign number clear information. So basically what they're saying is that they want to use the Freedom of Information Act. It says right here, legislation is necessary because Section 552 of Title 5, the United States Code, commonly referred to as Freedom of Information Act, is implemented by the executive branch of the federal government and has proven inadequate in achieving the timely public disclosure. So yeah, they're using the Freedom of Information Act, or they were trying to release this. The bill itself was proposed by Mr. Chuck Schumer, Senator Rounds, Senator Rubio, Senator Gillibrand, and brought forth to Congress by Congressman Salafansky. I can't pronounce this one. Also titled by Senator Cruz. Also, Ted Cruz is in on this too. So you have a lot of big people who are attached to this that were trying to push this, and you have these two that are blocking it, or at least these two.
Yeah.
Let's see. When you sneak something into a bill, it's called a rider. It literally happens all the time. Yeah, he's right. It does happen. So I didn't think it was going to come to light. I didn't think, this was going to be how it comes through, and if it did, bravo, it would have been cool, but we wouldn't have gotten half the stuff. There still would have been stuff hidden.
Oh, yeah.
There still would have been stuff hidden. They would have found a way to keep things quiet.
They're still only going to tell you what they believe that you should know.
Yeah.
That's just the way the government works.
Yeah, they're going to tell you what they think you should know as opposed to what you want to believe in. So,
yeah.
Let's see. What else can we talk about tonight? Oh, this is something I think that'd be cool since we're talking about this. So, everybody knows Star Wars. Everyone knows Star Wars, and I know Dan is in the show. He's watching and commenting. Dan, you might want to listen to this one because this whole scientific push might have just unlocked something really interesting. So you know how today we have infrared lasers. I'm sorry, not racers. Infrared lasers. The infrared racers, they're the ones that are in NASCAR nowadays.
Yeah.
Today's infrared lasers are only powerful enough to disable aerial targets, such as drones or potential aircraft. But scientists now have the keys to building high-powered laser weaponry that can, quote, melt or cause small explosive burns in distant targets.
Okay.
So, Star Wars lasers.
Yeah, so working on lasers or phasers.
Lasers, blasters, phasers.
Yeah.
Military have already deployed laser-powered weapons as popularized by films like Star Wars, but they're much weaker than those on screen and can only disable small airborne targets. The light in these current weapons, which is invisible to the naked eye, comes from a single-mode fiber optic, which transmits a single wavelength of light or mode through the fiber core and generates a focused beam. But it's difficult to increase the power because the light is confined to a tiny area. However, now multi-mode optical fiber, which transmit multiple light modes, it's much wider and can boost the power of an infrared light emitted between 3 to 9 times that amount of current laser technology. But this technology also generates beams that are messy and unfocused due to scattering. That means their power dissipates rapidly over long distances.
Yeah, so instead of like a sniper rifle one beam type of shot where you have to hit the same spot over and over for it to be effective, it's more of a laser shotgun, if you will.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. It's a laser shotgun, but let's see. In a newspaper published on November 19th in the journal Nature Communications, scientists found a solution that limits how much light scatters from multimode fibers. In theory, it means militaries could design lasers that are both high-powered enough to cause significant damage and focus enough to form a smooth, narrow beam. A bad quality laser beam will diverge very rapidly as it propagates and therefore cannot deliver a concentrated amount of energy to the target. We have a way to control the property of light in such a fiber so that it emerges as a focused point that can be turned into a narrow, high-quality beam. Lead authors Stephen Worm-Smith and Lynn Gwyn, researchers at the University of South Australia's Future Industries Institute, told Live Science in a jointly written email. The defense sector has been developing military-grade lasers for years and is vying to deploy them in the real world. Lockheed Martin, for example, announced plans this year for a 500-kilowatt class laser for use in directed energy weapon systems to defend against threats. So, in essence, from the way they're describing it in the article, current technology can zap small targets in the air at close range, but the new technology can be used at a much broader range of targets. For example, The laser beam is focused on a distant target for a few seconds, which would cause the target to melt, burn, catch fire, and even possibly cause a small explosion on the body of the target, depending on the frequency and the intensity of the laser. So you're not going to have, like, for example, with Star Wars, you're not going to have like the red or green laser beams firing back and forth. It's going to be, that guy's going to point at you, and it's going to be like, just after a few seconds, that guy's going to fall over, from the way they're describing it.
Yeah.
More like Star Trek with their laser guns, but you're not going to see the laser gun. It's going to be just maybe a small hint of blue or something like that. But yeah, it's rather interesting that they're going along with the idea of actually militarizing laser technology. But it's not going to be like how science fiction claims it'll be.
Yeah, I mean, they've been using laser technology for quite a while. I mean, Tyler, you may remember I had to get laser surgery done on my eyes.
Yep.
For cauterization. They were using a laser that was between 10 and 20 nanometers in wavelength to cauterize the veins in my eyes.
Right.
And it kind of worked. but I mean, you know, the progression of them doing that, it was going to end up being weaponized in some way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of time.
Well, it's a matter of time and how much money you want to throw into a project like this. Like, for example, you know, everybody wants to sit there and say, you know, yeah, I'm a big comic book fan. I love comic books, you know, and I love comic book movies. Several years ago in 2008, when the first Iron Man film came out, a lot of people sat there and said something like that could not exist. And we're still very far off from having a suit like that. But if you look at the advancements of technology since then, you have the hover jets, for example, that people can wear on their hands, and it creates a small thrust. They could hover literally from like one area to another. You have robotic systems and prosthetics that people can receive if they've lost a limb or something like that. I mean, the idea that technology couldn't catch up to something like, say, Iron Man, or in this case, Star Wars, it's happening. It can happen.
Well, I know I watch a show, well, it used to be on, called Savage Builds with Adam Savage. He actually had an Iron Man armor 3D printed out of platinum. Or not platinum, but really strong metal. I can't remember the name of it. It might be platinum. But it resists 1 or 2 bullet shots to the same area, but on the third it would go through.
Oh, it's titanium.
Titanium.
He built one out of titanium, 3D printed titanium.
Yeah, 3D printed titanium.
Wow. So
like
it would only withstand 2 bullet shots, and then that's it.
Yeah, and that's in the same area. So like if they shot in the shoulder, if 2 of them hit there, he'd be okay. He'd be hurting, but he'd be okay. But that third one would penetrate because it could only be so many. Yeah, there you go.
That's about as close. Well, he made one out of titanium and it survived 2 bullet shots, so we're almost there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're just looking at like what, repulsor blasters in the hands.
Yep.
And a propulsion that comes from either the bottom of the feet or out the back that doesn't scorch your legs.
Right. And again, Dan, once again, is got, I swear, Dan's a scientist. Laser woodcutters that are publicly available right now have a 50-watt laser. A 50-watt laser will cut glass wood, but will only engrave metal. So the power requirements would be huge. So yeah, if the military was going to take, can you imagine? It's not going to be like Star Wars where you have like a little blaster gun or it's a camera. They said, you know, just pretend it's a blaster. You know, George Lucas ran out of money for this film. It's literally going to be like, you're going to have, it's going to look more like, I would say it looked more like the Ghostbusters proton pack, and the backpack itself is going to be just a power source, the battery.
Yeah, that's about what it would need.
That, yeah, considering. And I mean, if they can get it down one day, yeah, but then that's going to be a hell of a breakthrough. It's going to be a hell of a power supply. I don't know if modern society is ready for lasers or blasters or phasers or plasma. I would say plasma is more effective as a possible weapon than a laser would. The problem is a plasma is you run the chance of burning yourself too when you fire it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if society, we can barely get down our own weapons in this day and age. You know, we're still using weapon technology based upon 1970s, 1980s, 1990s technology. I mean, the new fighter jet's supposed to be debuted. The new generation of fighter jet for the United States is supposed to be debuted in 2025, and that's supposed to be. The concept is it's supposed to have one fighter jet and it's supposed to have 5 support drones. So you're going to have, like, for 3 fighter jets, you're actually going to have a fleet of drones. But we're still technically running on 20th century technology when it comes to our weapons and whatnot. So plasma cutters exist in metal shops. People are working them right now to modify them into lightsabers. And he's right on that. I've seen a YouTube channel where a guy took a plasma cutter and made it into
a proto saber.
Yeah, you can't have a lightsaber battle with, your friends with it, but he did prove that you could create a lightsaber that could cut through wood, metal, stuff like that. But you're not going to have the great Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker battles that we're used to seeing in Star Wars. So maybe one day, maybe that's what the aliens are. Maybe that's why the government doesn't want the aliens to be revealed to the world, is because the aliens have that technology or something like that. So, all right. We're getting back to a little more science right now. We're discovering more and more about dinosaurs every day. And I love reading about dinosaurs. I love reading all the recent news and getting all the information, stuff like that. Well, now they're claiming that the stomach contents of a juvenile tyrannosaur may actually settle the age-old argument on whether tyrannosaurs were predators or scavengers. Now, before I read the article, I'll explain the theory, okay? When they were filming Jurassic Park, they realized when creating the Tyrannosaurus to move that it was very hard to get the Tyrannosaur to be able to chase something like, say, a Jeep or a car or something like that. And the CGI model would go a little apeshit, is what they claimed it, which is where a theory came up where they believed Tyrannosaur may have been too big to chase down and actually hunt other dinosaurs like hadrosaurs or something along those lines. This started a theory amongst many paleontologists that most tyrannosaurs, particularly Tyrannosaurus rex, was in essence a scavenger. They were an opportunist. They would find dead dinosaurs, such as dead hadrosaurs, dead sauropods, and they would just eat those as opposed to hunting down actual legitimate animals. So Christina also actually lives with a dinosaur. I guess. Well, now we have information that may point differently. Now they're saying that a recent fossil find of a infant tyrannosaur in Alberta, Canada, has revealed that tyrannosaurs did not pass up a free meal, such as a dead dinosaur, but they would occasionally hunt, particularly a small bird-like creature known as Zizataurus. Zizataurus, this is like a small, like Coelophysis, omnivore type creature. A juvenile Tyrannosaurus fossil was found. A juvenile Tyrannosaurus fossil was found in Canada with its stomach contents still preserved with its last 2 meals. It showed that it feasted on a pair of hind legs from several small bird-like dinosaurs. The juvenile Tyrannosaur ripped the legs off and swallowed them. That was the original thought. They thought it was just eating the legs, right? It was a leg man.
Okay.
Well, they actually found out that this thing was actually swallowing the animals whole. And apparently at some point during its, enjoyment of eating dinosaurs, that's when it died. They also realized too, when they discovered and searched these fossils and started trying to actually get the fossils out of the juvenile Tyrannosaurus body, the bones had been ground up to a pulp, which is why they had a hard time finding the top half of the dinosaurs, because this thing had actually grabbed them and basically shook them and chewed them to the point where there was nothing. So, to answer everybody's question, at least we know Tyrannosaurus did hunt. And if you want to see the fossil itself, it was apparently a very small. Let's see. Now, there's the fossil itself of the Tyrannosaur. It's a fossilized Gorgosaurus, which is a earlier Tyrannosaur. It was around a couple million years prior to T-Rex. And that is supposed to be its stomach contents. You can see a little bit of a leg there.
Yeah.
You see hind leg there. That's the Tyrannosaurus rib cage, parts of it. And this here, they claim, is parts of its upper body. So basically what they're saying is, I'll use my pill bottle here. Like, here's the top part of your dinosaur. The T-Rex came down, bit it, put enough pressure to crush the top part, and swallowed the rest. That's a pretty small little skull there for a little Tyrannosaur, for a Gorgosaurus. Let's see. T-Rex was an opportunistic hunter. Yes, hunt for fresh meat, but whatever you can find in the meantime. And yeah, that's pretty much almost a lot of predators as well,
Way to bring the class, Christina.
Yeah, no kidding. Beta birds, they have a gizzard which is capable of grinding grain and small bones. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I got a few other stories we can cover, but it's getting late, and I think everybody's ready to call it a day. Some of us have work tomorrow, but before we
It's
go,
up to you. I can hang out as long as you would like.
well, before we go, I do want to, before we end the show tonight, save the rest of these for Rob for next week because I won't be on. I got to work. Go over the Havana ghost hunt a little bit for people. That video, we're working on it right now. We're editing it. I think David is 25% done with his part. There's still a lot to go through. I'll say this, Havana, we have planned Havana Gym since May of last year, and it got canceled. And then we tried to go for June of last year, and it got canceled. And shout out to Rob, who finally got us in. Every time we tried to go to Havana Gym, it seemed like something was stopping us. Like something would come up. Either they would cancel, we would cancel. This time there was a fight between members of the team, almost got the whole hunt canceled. I got pissed off, but we fortunately did get to go. And man, I'm going to tell you right now, if anyone questions the supernatural, anyone, and I know there's people out there who either they question it because they legitimately question it, like I've never experienced it or I've never seen it, or I think it could be this, it could be that, or there's people who just they want to be assholes, they question it just to be assholes. You go
I question it, but I try to keep an open mind. But because I haven't experienced it, I can't say definitely. So,
right. Well, I would say this, that the next time, Dan, if you question it, I got to take you to Havana Gym. Maybe after that baby comes out, you and the wife. I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as we got there, that stuff started firing off. We were getting orbs. We were getting responses on the spirit box. The EVP box was going off. We haven't gotten everything figured out yet, but a couple weeks ago, I showed the clip from the Havana Gym about the padlock. This is the area where the padlock was tossed at us. we got to talk to that ghost, or we think we did. We're not
Okay.
100% sure. Me and Will Height were both in that room by ourselves. Well, no, Will Height's cousin was there too. And we were asking questions. Now, we had these little cat balls, okay? The cat balls work the same way. It's got an LED light in it, and whenever you move it, it blinks, supposed to get the cat's attention, stuff like that. We use these, we just put them on a little table or put them on the floor or something like that in order for if something was to move it, it lights up. And it takes a lot to move these. Like I stood next to one, stomping my feet hardcore like an elephant. Could barely get it to move. We got one ghost, and we set these up around the tumbler room. The tumbler room is supposed to be the main room with the main activity in it. And then in the hall, there's a hallway off to the right of it, and then you go out and there's the main hallway. These lights were hitting up like something was making circles around those three rooms. And on top of all that, too, at one point, the bathroom sink turned on. Now, we didn't catch that on video, I don't think. Nobody caught that on video. I think we were actually on the Best Damn Podcast giving an update on the show. Our update on the ghost hunt, talking about going live. And then Rob comes out and says, hey, the bathroom sink just flicked on. And then we ended it there. And sure enough, it wasn't on like full blast, but like a little steady stream.
Okay.
And Amanda Kluge was there too. So Amanda, if you're there, chime in about how you felt about it, because she showed up, and the video I'm about to play, a little teaser, I guess you could say, definitely gives a little information on it. So, but we made contact with something, and it was me, Will Height, and his cousin, and we asked this spirit, whatever it was it the one to throw the padlock at us from a couple years ago? And if it was, could it move the cat ball? And it waited a few seconds, and then finally the cat ball moved, saying, yes, it was the one. And then we asked, did you throw it for malintent? Nothing. Nope.
Okay.
Silence. And then Will Hyde asked, did you throw this padlock to get our attention? And almost immediately, boom, it lit up. So I don't know if that's the one that threw the padlock. Might have been. I don't know. Christina says they have a ghost, and it poked her in the back while they were putting their Christmas tree up in the dining room. Some people say you can't prove ghosts exists. I say you can't prove they don't. That's true. Dan's 100%.
Yeah.
Dan's
That's
100%.
That's really why you got to go in with an open mind.
You do. And if you're going to go in and expecting something like every 5 minutes something's going to happen, or some guy's going to sit there saying, oh, that's demonic, this is demonic, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
You're going to be disappointed. If you go in there and you're biased and you're half-cocked and you're going to try and sit there and, make jokes the whole time thinking this is stupid, that is stupid, then get the hell out, because you ain't going to experience jack shit. If you go in with an open mind and be like, let's see what happens,
Yeah.
And another thing, too, is also when you're ghost hunting, the best thing to do is to technically debunk whatever you see. Try to debunk it, because if you debunk it, whatever else remains, if you try and sit there and find a logical explanation, like, for example, well, this cat ball went off. Maybe I stepped next to it. Maybe I hit it. Maybe I, moved it, maybe it wasn't a ghost. That's the best way of narrowing it down to what it could be.
Yeah, you really got to go through it with almost two different points of view. First, you got to go through it being open and being aware of the things going on around you. And the second point of view is really that critic's eye of why or how could it have happened around you. Exactly.
Now, the clip I'm going to show, it's obviously a 7-minute clip, because this is a clip at, I think it was around 12. It was around 12-ish. Why does everything have to be demons? Demons are a Christian construct. Don't non-Christians have ghosts too? Yeah, not everything. I mean, I think demonic is just a term that investigators or people who study ghosts give either a dark or a violent entity. Not everything's a demon, you know. I think I've only been to one house that I could say was dark, and one of us actually got scratched. And I would say some people may sit there and say that was demonic. I would sit there and say that was hostile. I've never, you know, obviously something like I don't want to give him credit because I don't like the guy. I can't stand him. Zach Baggins with his Ghost Adventures show. They did that special on the Demon House in Indiana. If you actually look into the history of that house and the family that lived there that experienced all this, they went through a lot of shit prior to Zach Baggins getting involved. And I would say that was demonic. But everything else, like whenever somebody says, you know, oh, I got scratched, it was 3 scratches. It could be, but I don't think so. You got pushed. You had a padlock tossed at you. That could be hostile. That could be hostile. It could have maybe not liked you. Maybe didn't want you in that area. Maybe it was being protective. Not
But
everything.
maybe the way that that particular person died was maybe done in a very, very bad way, and there's a bit of revenge, but not enough to really be violent or to really make someone into a demon.
Right. Right. So the clip I'm going to show, it's a 7-minute clip. Amanda Kluge shows up at around 11, 12 o'clock. Now, Amanda Kluge, I'll be honest with you, Amanda Kluge, we kind of tease each other back and forth. But she did ask to come along, and we figured we would invite her along. We did the first eventual walkthrough of the building, and she claims to be an empath. I don't really believe in empaths that much, but she did locate the most active room in the building, which is his Tumblr room. This is the room that we are in this video. So she found that right off the bat. So I can't knock her for that. I'll give her credit. She did either a lucky guess or she just happened to find out. I don't know. But what you're going to see is she is interacting with one of the spirits. And at one point we were watching this, I decided to break my cell phone out and record this. And this should be included in the video, I believe, but you're going to see a few reactions. Now, what you'll also see is in this video, you'll see those cat balls I talk about. So it's me, her, Jason Wilhite, and Wilhite's cousin in this Tumblr room recording this. Rob is in it, I believe, as well. And I think Rob steps out to go get a video camera. So I'll play this and we'll see where it goes. See, another thing too is we're on these mats, these rubber mats, so that you're a lot like stopping. Oh, they're dead. See, there's the balls. We're touching them to make sure they're still working. We put the balls
in here.
there. Rob, do you have your video camera on you? Because see, my cell phone's full, almost full at this point. What do you think? What's the worst room you felt so far?
Here.
Here? Should I tell her?
Let her go through the other rooms. No, I kind of already let it out.
This is the most active room in the building. This is also the same room, that doorway where we had the padlock tossed at us, me and Jay, a couple years ago. And he got to talk to the ghost, and it said what? It was doing it for attention? Because he asked, were you doing it for attention? And it shook that cat ball.
Yeah, because it's fucking cold in here.
It was hot as hell.
Yeah, it's fucking cold.
Like I was sweating. I don't know about.
Yeah, so one thing is while we were down here in this room, the temperature kept changing. It felt like somebody had a door open.
Okay.
So, and we checked all the windows to feel if there was a breeze, to feel if there was, if one of the windows were open. They weren't. One window was kind of cracked open when we got there. We shut it, but it was so weird because the heat would run too, and it would feel like ice cold in this room. And then after things would calm down, it would like warm up. Like it was like you felt the heat just turned on or something like that. And there is a heater vent in the upper left corner. You can't see it on the camera. It's technically behind us. And it's blowing right at us. So we shouldn't be feeling cold while there's a heater vent pouring heat right at us. So I'll go ahead and play the video some more.
Dude, I got goosebumps going on. Always happens. Yeah.
I wish they'd light the ball up one more time.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you heard that, didn't you?
Yeah, I heard it.
Also, I'm noticing my camera's not focusing too well, and that's unusual. It's like it's focusing on something else.
Usually it tries to search for somebody
Yeah.
in the light. And if there's not a whole lot of light and there's no body, it has nothing to focus on.
What? That thing?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Sit here.
Robert, can you go upstairs and get the handheld camera? Bring it back down. I've only got a little bit of time on his phone because the phone's full.
It's not so hot over here, but over there it's fucking freezing.
Not so hot?
It's not so cold over here, but over there
Okay.
it's fucking freezing.
Let's let you know, we put our hands by that windows, and those windows ain't letting in any cold air. Yeah, the only cold spot in this room earlier was standing in front of him. Then it happened upstairs.
So I passed through whatever's over there.
Well, I think it's the whole damn room this time. Before it was literally.
Well, I'm sitting here because, like I said, the rest is a lot.
See, I'm checking here for Rob to come back. I got my camera up in case something does happen.
Something happened to you? Here, we'll do this. Yes, tap the ball. No, if you don't.
All right, here you go.
Did something happen to you?
For some reason, my camera keeps trying to focus on something behind the balls.
No.
Now, hold on. Before we continue, nobody touch this. I am sitting on a bench across from it. There's at least an inch gap between me and the mat that it's sitting on. No one touched this thing. No
Okay.
one touched this. So Dan says he wants to go on a ghost hunt. Well, Dan, it sounds like you have ghosts in your house. You could do a ghost hunt there. Just ask the questions and all that stuff. So no one touched this, and this thing went off. There was a bit of a delay between her asking, "Did something happen to you?" Like I want to say about 7-8 seconds, and then the ball goes off. But it did respond, at least in that regard.
Child?
Give it time for the ball to go out.
See, then she starts asking questions. I'm like, wait for the ball to go off.
Okay.
See, so it's a child.
If I'm guessing,
Hang on, man.
You see, it's just hard for
Turn the
me
ball
to
away.
hear the voices.
It's hard for you to hear the voices. Let me see.
Yeah,
Oh, it's up full mast.
and it's up full, and my tablet's up full. So,
Okay, she asked if it was a child, and the ball lit up.
okay.
okay, are you a little girl?
Wait, that one just.
That's Rob. Oh, no, it's Sue's.
Yeah, Sue walked in at this point. She asked if it was a little
what's up?
girl. Can you please get me the handheld camera because we got stuff going on down here? Video camera. It's up on the stage. Here, just take the camera and I'll grab it. At this point, I'm like, I gotta get the better camera because my phone's about dead. I want to record this. And unfortunately, I think I scared it off when I got up and moved.
I just hope that interference that just happened didn't turn them away.
Yeah, I think it did.
There's nothing to be scared of. We're all actually very nice in here.
What was that?
We don't come in.
I just noticed this.
There's nothing to be scared of.
That just happened didn't
Do you see this?
turn them away.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're all actually very nice.
What is that?
There's nothing to be scared of. We're all actually very.
Yeah, like a little blinking light.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be scared of. We're all actually.
Turn them away.
There's nothing to be scared of. We're all
Like,
actually
was-
very nice in here.
So
It's like, was that a window or something? Or
no, there's no window there. That's the weird thing. There's no glass. The door to this building, the door to this room is really weird. There's two doors. There's one that enters this way and one that enters that way. Sue came in through the door because this door here was locked. This door right there, there's a door right there. It was locked. She came in through this way because there's another
Okay.
door right here. And the only way to go into that room, you had to go around through a separate room to go in as opposed to a hallway. But this is one of the first times I've seen this video back all the way. There's no window, there's no light,
Turn them away.
there's no door. There is a door, but
yeah,
Scared of. We're all actually very nice in here. I'm gonna be scared of. We're all actually very nice. I'm gonna be scared.
yeah, it's not enough to be like a reflection of a flashlight.
no,
I
that's
don't think,
that's too bright.
We're all actually very nice in here.
and it's really pinpointed.
Yeah.
Explore and talk to you.
But I can't tell, looking at it, I can't tell if it's on the ceiling or floating above the doorway where we just left.
We're all actually very nice in here. We don't come in here to hurt anyone. We just come in here to.
It is so weird. I didn't see that.
Do you feel safe? Yes or no?
And I think at this point it stops talking, maybe because we've scared it off, or okay, that could be them moving that shadow.
Are you still here with us?
Oh, what the hell was that?
Are you still here with us?
Oh, okay, that was just a shadow of somebody moving.
It's still in here. There's a cold spot right here. I'm sorry if we interrupted.
See, look, it's back. It came back. Did you see that?
I'm sorry if we interrupted.
There was two this time, and then it was
I'm
one.
sorry if we interrupted.
See?
Yeah.
It's gone because I'm starting to feel a lot better now.
And there's where I enter.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, it's gone.
Huh. Either that's, I have to look at that more, but I'm wondering if that's not the flashlight somehow reflecting off of something. Because I walk in. Okay, the way it's set up, when you go into that hallway where that tumbling room is at, there's a stairwell that leads up to the main gymnasium floor.
Okay.
But the door itself, the stairwell, when you walk down the stairwell, it's not going to be like, you can look right down in that tumbler room. No, the tumbler room is going to be off to the left a little bit. So when you walk down, here's a stairwell, and the tumbler room door is going to be right there. So
Okay.
why? Dan wants to know, why is this location so active? That's just it. We can't find a definite answer. We have heard everything from a child was locked in there and died overnight. That's why the gym is so active. We have heard that a janitor died there and still haunts it. We've heard that. We can't find an honest answer. And hundreds of people, other groups around the area, have ghost hunted here, and they have never found a legitimate answer as to why this place is haunted. Some people theorize maybe it's because something there draws spirits from around the town. Maybe this is like their, ghost club. Nobody really knows. But I have never seen the ending there. That part with the orb or light or whatever that is. There's a lot of shadow anomalies too, like something that randomly blocks it. I don't know.
I'm sorry if we interrupted.
That
anything.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Next time we go, I've got to buy more cameras. I'm going to just like straight up Spielberg that place out. Cameras everywhere. Cameras in the bathroom. Cameras in the foyer. And no, the bathrooms stink. Nobody uses the bathrooms there. But once that video is fully finished and rendered, we shall debut it here on Werid Frequencies. And I'll see if Rob will let me bring some of the guys from the ghost hunting team to see if they can talk about it a little bit. But
have a ghost hunting special.
Yeah, maybe a ghost hunting special, something like that. So I'm gonna actually message David about that weird light anomaly.
Now, the fact that, for a little bit it was one, and then a little bit later, it sounded like when Susan said, "Are you still with us?" it became two, and then when you came into the room, they both disappeared.
Yeah. Like it saw me walking in and like stepped out of the way or moved or something like that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Messaging about that now. I don't even know if I spelled anomaly correct. I'm just excited about that. And I mean, it's like Dan says. Dan says he wants to do a ghost hunt. We're going to try and do some more this year after the holidays, so maybe we'll take you along. But that's the main thing is like we were having a full conversation, me and David, about why is this place haunted? Why does this place have activity? Nobody knows. I mean, I'd love them to find out and say, somebody did a seance there, open something up. I would love for it to be like, oh, there was a person who died on the grounds, and maybe that. Nobody has a definite answer.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are groups from all over the state, the area, who have came to this place. There are people who catch great evidence, people who caught better evidence than we ever have. And it's like nobody has a definite answer as to why. So it may be that this is a ghost that it could have existed on the area before the gym was built. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe like a previously buried body that came up while
exactly.
they were building the gym.
Yeah, it's very hard to figure out, and it's like that's one of the reasons why we do it, is because some people actually will find a reason why a location's haunted. Some people will actually find a reason why this happens or that happens, or why are the ghosts here. Some people find that.
It's not uncommon for there to be an undocumented burial site.
Yeah. Jacksonville, for example, has hundreds of undocumented burial sites. Look at Springfield, Illinois. You can just look at anything from the Trail of Tears to the tuberculosis outbreak, stuff like that. I will say this. I wanted to go back after a couple of years with the padlock the first time I went. Now I definitely want to go back this time. This place is like, I love this place. Like, oh, I love Mineral Springs. Don't get me wrong. I love Mineral Springs. I love McPike Mansion. I loved Diamond Grove Cemetery. This is the place I definitely want to go back to. So at some point, I'm going to plan for it sometime next year after the holidays to go back. So, and we're always trying to do more locations. Like, we've got a few locations we're working on currently in the area that hopefully, if we can follow through with them, there's 2 locations. If we follow through with, we'll be the first paranormal investigators in 2 locations ever.
Okay.
One's here in Jacksonville. The other one is actually in Macomb. So, and I don't know what to expect with that.
Yeah.
So, well, that's all I got for us tonight. The rest, I believe, we'll save for Rob when he comes back next week to host a show. Adam, pleasure as always. Thank you for filling in. Thank you for
No problem. Anytime, Tyler.
being
Anytime.
on the show. Thank you to Christina and Dan and everybody else for watching and sharing the show. That's all I got for tonight. You can catch me on the Best Damn Podcast, which will be Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll do more of our comedy bit and our comedy routine. Adam, I know you're on a show now. When can we catch that show next?
I'm actually on Mayhem Amigos on Sunday nights. So yeah, I am one of the 3 now. I'm just an intern. I'm just learning. But hey, it's just like chatting with some friends down in the basement.
The intern Adam, right?
Yep.
Intern Adam. There you go. So there you go. That's weird too, because like it's funny because for everybody who doesn't know, I used to be on that show and then I left it, and here's technically my replacement. So kind of.
Yeah, I'm just, between you and the other host, I'm both your friends. So I'd love to fill in on either one of your shows.
Right. I'm not going to bash you for that. No, that's not your fault. You're just the intern.
Yep. It's above my pay grade most of the time. So
wait, you actually get paid for that show?
No.
I never got paid.
No.
If he started paying you, I'm gonna be pissed. All
no.
right.
I get paid attention. Rarely.
You get paid attention. That's you get.
But it's okay.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's it for Weird Frequencies this week. We'll be back next Sunday. I will not be here. Rob will be hosting, I'm sure. If not, because unfortunately, like we said, it's the holidays and we both have jobs. Stay tuned to the Facebook page. If we cancel, we'll try and let you know when the next one comes up. Of course, you can catch Adam on Mayhem's 3 Amigos. What days again?
It's Sunday night.
Sunday night. So you didn't have a show tonight?
No. The host had an event going on.
Okay.
That had to be attended. So.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
And you know what? They've been pretty active tonight. We might as well recognize them. You can catch the creature from the Black Lagoon and Dan Swinson, Psycho Dan, on Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster every Tuesday through Thursday. You can subscribe to their Patreon show and get free access to good content. I know I'm a subscriber. I've been a subscriber for a while. I think
I was for a long time, but now I'm not. I wish I was, but I can't do it.
Right.
So, maybe I'll be able to sometime, but for now, not quite.
Right. And you can of course catch me on the Best Damn Podcast. God, I love giving her shit. I do. I love giving her shit. She ain't said anything for a while, and she's like, up yours, Tyler. I'm sorry, Big Tuda. Thanks for the plug, though. You're welcome. I try to get along with everybody. So, but yeah, stay tuned for more Weird Frequencies. We will be debuting the full video of the Havana Gym here on Weird Frequencies. Rob will be back next Sunday night at 8 p.m. for more news of the weird and everything in between. Until then, I am Tyler. That is Substitute. We'll name him Substitute Teacher Adam. And we will see you all next Sunday for another edition of Weird Frequencies. Till then, have a great week. I will see you Wednesday, and Adam will see you next Sunday on his show.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Christina and Dan will see you on their show, I'm sure, starting Tuesday. Until then, have a good week. Take her easy, stay warm, and adjust your frequencies back to normal. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.